Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a super sweet list to look at today. So you might be familiar with the Tezzerator archetype. Decks built around Planeswalker, Tezzerator, Agent of Bolas, lots of artifacts, usually pretty controlling, removal heavy. Well, this is a sweet new evolution of Tezzerator, and I'm calling it Tezzeracker because of its reliance on the rack as a finisher. So this kind of walks the line between a Tezzerator deck and a rack deck. So it's really sweet. It comes from Akita Naoto, who took it to a top 8 finish at a rather large, I think 140 player GP trial over in Japan. So congrats to Akita on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break down Tezzeracker: if you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Tezzeracker, like Tezzerator, is built around Tezzerator, Agent of Bolas, one of the most powerful planeswalkers ever printed. And if you follow the tournament scene, hearing that might surprise you, because Tezzerator doesn't really see that much play. But by the text on the card, it is insanely powerful. Ultimates in one turn, it generates card advantage, it defends itself, it does everything you want a planeswalker to do. The problem is, it's all about the artifacts, so it only fits in a really limited number of decks in a very specific type of deck. You need a ton of artifacts to make it work, not really fast enough for affinity artifacts deck, so you need to be both an artifact deck and a more controlling deck, and we just don't have that many of those decks to go around, which is why Tezzerator doesn't see that much play. But it's super powerful, so +1 generates card advantage by finding an artifact. It's almost like super anticipate for an artifact. -1, you get to make an artifact into a 5/5, which is very strong, and then -4, you get to drain X2 the number of artifacts you have, which can just close out the game. If you have 10 artifacts on the battlefield, you just 20 your opponent, gain a bunch of life along the way. So what are we finding with our Tezzerator? And we got a bunch of different artifacts. One of the key ones is Ensnaring Bridge, which keeps us alive, makes it so our opponent can't just beat us down with creatures. Engineered Explosives lets us wipe away a bunch of tokens that could maybe get in under Ensnaring Bridge. Also very good against Lantern Control. Other decks have small non-creature permanents on the battlefield. Now we also have a smattering of other artifacts, kind of 1-2 ofs for specific situations. Spellskite gives us some protection from lightning bolts and combos. Grafdigger's Cage, main deck graveyard hate. Pithing Needle, kind of a catch-all, also in the main deck of course. And then Darksteel Citadel combos with Tezzerator's negative ability to give you a 5/5 indestructible attacker, which is pretty good. If your opponent can't path it, there's not a whole lot that kills it, especially now that people are playing Fatal Push over as many dismembers. So very strong in that sense. The big one, though, is the rack, and this is what makes the deck unique. Normally, with Tezzerator decks, you're pretty much on the control plan, and you're looking to just kind of grind out some value and removal and counters and eventually win the game somehow. Well, in this deck, you're trying to get empty-handed and kill your opponent with the rack, and of course, Tezzerator can help you find the rack by cycling through your deck with the +1 ability, and then we have a bunch of stuff to get our opponent empty-handed to make sure the rack is triggering. So Thoughtseize and Inquisition are just very powerful options anyway, plus they work with the goal of getting our opponent empty-handed. Liliana is the same way. We keep plussing it, discarding cards, getting our opponent empty-handed. We even have Zur's Weirding, which has a lot of weird text on it, but basically what it comes down to is whenever someone draws a card, someone can pay 2 life, and that card goes to the graveyard instead of our opponent's hand. So if we have a bunch of life, we can take and just pay 2 life and make sure our opponent stays empty-handed to keep taking damage from the rack. And thanks to Tezzerator, we can even kind of break the symmetry, because the +1 ability on Tezzerator doesn't draw us a card, even though it generates card advantage. We're just putting that card in our hand, so our opponent, if we pay 2 life, is drawing 0 cards a turn. Even if our opponent pays 2 life so we can't draw a card, we can still get a card off Tezzerator, so we're still getting cards in our hand and generating value. So pretty neat tech there to keep the opponent empty-handed for the rack. Then we have some random setup stuff. Serum Visions, something else to do on turn 1, find our pieces. Trinket Mage can tutor up the rack and Engineered Explosives, and then Infernal tutor is a demonic tutor if you're always empty-handed, and since our goal is to get our opponent empty-handed, and also we're going to be empty-handed a lot thanks to cards like Liliana the Veil, it's very powerful in the deck to just be able to find anything we need. A Tezzeracker, a Rack, an Ensnaring Bridge, you name it, we can tutor it out. In the mana base, we already talked about Citadel becoming a 5/5 indestructible, Tar Pit, another creature land, Seagate Wreckage if we're going to be empty-handed, Ghost Quarter for Tron lands, and we have some dual lands, Polluted Delta, Searching Up Watery Grave, Island Swamp, and a Dark Slick Shores. As far as the sideboard, we get some more artifacts, mostly targeted at graveyards and Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus, another Trinket Mage for tutoring up stuff like the Relic, Damping Matrix, another artifact we can find, locks down activated abilities, a bunch of different removals, Sever the Bloodline, gets rid of a bunch of stuff with different names, kind of the black, expensive version of Declaration in Stone, Fatal Push, kills a lot of stuff in the format. Knight of Souls Betrayal, also good against Lingering Souls tokens, Affinity and the like. Echoing Truth to bounce something. And then for aggro, Gifted Aetherborn and Cletus give us some life gain. And another Zur's Weirding if we really want to make sure our opponent's not drawing cards. And that is Tezzeracker for Modern. And that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.